Ethan, please take it away.
Um, well, I was going to start with something else, but I was at actually when you were texting me and asking me to do this event, I actually was in a, let's call it a Jewish space, but a pretty right-wing Jewish space, not my ordinary community, but I have an interest in kind of spiritual Jewish music, and so sometimes that requires you to be side by side with people who might not have the same political views as you do, and in light of the kind of return of the Bebas children, that kind of cast a shadow over the evening and the evening celebration and even the evening's kind of effort at spirituality. And I tried to imagine as you were asking me to kind of be part of a conversation with you to think about, if you had been in that space and I was, uncomfortable in that situation. And I can only imagine how much more so you would have been. But I guess it's an opportunity though to think about in moments like these where like the Jewish people that you think of yourself as part of, are experiencing a certain kind of direct trauma. How do you begin and open a conversation with people who are in the midst of a kind of suffering?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I mean, and I think the problem is that like I feel like if I try, I feel like I always feel inadequate in my efforts to show people that I deeply care about those things too. First of all, I feel like it seems performative if like I sometimes think about saying, sometimes it feels performative that if I say, no, no, I really, really, really care. It's almost like if I have to say I really, really, really care, I'm already kind of lost the plot. And also I feel like maybe to some degree, when people say you, Peter, don't care, in a way, there's a part of me that wants to emphatically reject that and say, no, I care just as much as you. I just think that we should express our care differently. But maybe the fact that I am spending more of my time thinking about what's happening to Palestinians than those folks are, maybe there is some, finite universe of care. Like there is only a certain amount of time in the day. And so one of the things that I always notice about people on the Jewish right, and sometimes even people in the Jewish center, is that they seem to me like just to filter out so much of what's happening to Palestinians. So when the hostages come back, they focus intensely on all the details of this, and I don't blame them all. I care about that tremendously too, but I notice they pay very, very little attention to the human situation of what it's like for the Palestinians who are coming out of prison, or what it's like for people in Gaza. And so maybe they're saying that like because you're spending part of your time focusing on the Palestinians, you're not spending as much time thinking about the Bebas children as we are, because we're spending all of our time doing that. And I guess there's some truth in that, right? Like,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I feel like I feel frustrated because I feel like I so much want to convince people that like I am in it as much as they are in terms of like my sense of solidarity. But sometimes I think, yeah, maybe they're right. Maybe by their metric, I'm not.
I was thinking about it also in the kind of opening of the book because one might also think that there is a form of performativity that comes through in the book, which is I really am part of you. But there is also this moment in the beginning where you say, if I were if I were stuck in a tunnel, I would take some comfort in you people sitting in Upper West Side, well, maybe not the Upper West Side synagogues, wearing a bunch of dog tags with my name on it, but that you do gain some comfort from that, and it's this very intimate moment in the book, and also, but it's hard to know, is this part of I'm really trying to explain I'm part of you, I really am part of this people, I really am part of this particularity. And like, how does it resonate for you, because you're in this constant conflict of both trying to say I'm part of you and also trying to shake them from their own incapacity to see another.
Yeah, I mean, I worried that that was kind of performative, although the truth is that I really do feel a certain, I mean, I'm sure you do this too, Ethan, because you and I offer and often in similar spaces. I should say that Ethan has a very deep love-hate relationship with I would say with Jewish religious observance, having grown up in the belly of the beast in the Orthodox community and now having being kind of adjacent to it, but still stepping in and out of it all the time. I think, and maybe it's because I didn't grow up as observant as you did, so I didn't have perhaps I mean, remember, I've heard some of the ways you talked about the things that you used to hear over the loudspeaker at SIR and Ramaz and the way they would, and on Holocaust Remembrance Day or about when people had died in Israel. Maybe it's because I didn't grow up with that level of intensity in a community. My mother had a very strong, intense attachment of her own tribalism, but it wasn't reinforced by the community because we were in Cambridge, Massachusetts, where everyone was like totally deracinated. But I guess the point is when I see all those people at shul who are wearing those dog tags, I feel a sense of kind of awe in a way. Like I mean, it is something to basically say these are probably they probably don't know the hostages personally. They may know like family members, but it's not like they're people who have who there's not like they're these are but they have a sense of Jewish solidarity. It is so strong that they want to going to wear something on their body every single day for an indefinite period of time just to remind themselves that life should never be normal to them. I think to me that's a pretty like profound form of solidarity that I find really, really, really moving, and yet, and sometimes I worry that it's like, sometimes I wonder like, why aren't I doing that? Maybe I should be doing it as well. But I also feel, I don't know what your experience is. I also feel like nothing, I rarely ever feel that my writing has ever changed the opinions of people close to me or that I'm in like close community to. I generally find that the people who really like my book are getting it because they want to give it to someone that they hope to convince. But I sometimes feel like I should say to them, good luck with that. But I'm the guy who wrote the book and I haven't really convinced anyone in my own personal life. So I'm not sure that you're going to be any more successful than me.
Well, I mean, not to inflate your ego, but I think you've definitely pushed some people, even people relatively close to you, who
Mhm.
may, curse your name some days, but then have, experience a similar kind of ambivalence that you're demonstrating in the book. So I don't think you should think that it's just to give to somebody's children or, from the child to give to the parent. I mean, I think there are people that there you're kind of narrowly moving in small ways and that it's an accomplishment. But I wanted to just hold a little bit
Yeah.
on Jewish loyalty
Yeah.
because one of the things you say in the book also is that you're a Jewish loyalist, and
Mhm. Mhm.
I've been trying to make sense of
Yeah.
the conception of loyalty that's there, and in part it's a defense to the charge of betrayal that
Right.
some have charged you with. You have betrayed your
Right.
people, and you, in response, want to say, no, no, I'm a loyalist.
Right.
And I'm
Right.
just curious what that means for you.
Yeah. I guess partly it's that I feel like just the degree of attention that I focus on this feels to me like a form of loyalty because I think that it's something of tremendous importance. It's obviously of profound importance to Palestinians. I think it's profoundly important to Jews, but if I felt like if I were more of a universalist, I would just be focused on climate change all the time.